Welcome to the Daily Vibecasting. The fintech world just got put on notice
And get this, they've raised $108 million.
at a jaw-dropping $630 million valuation.
That valuation.
Yeah,
That's the number that should make you sit up straight.
absolutely. So what exactly is Corgi doing to justify this massive faith? They're positioning themselves as the first carrier built, specifically for startups.
And they're leveraging an AI-powered full-stack infrastructure to underwrite policies,
Yeah.
which just completely bypasses the legacy system.
Their core value proposition is speed. Securing critical business coverage in minutes, not days. It eliminates that traditional broker and paperwork hellscape that I think we've all dealt with.
What's really fascinating here is the sheer velocity of this. A $630 million valuation on $40 million in annual recurring revenue, or ARR.
Yeah.
Hitting that number so quickly in a highly regulated, capital-intensive industry like insurance is, it's incredibly punchy. It speaks volumes about the market's frustration and just the hunger for any functional alternative.
So they're essentially taking the complexity of this $40 billion commercial insurance market and turning it into a digitized self-service utility, a bit like how Stripe digitized payments.
That's the perfect analogy. And we have to acknowledge that the founders, Emily Yuan and Nico Lacroix, have just zeroed in on the critical, expensive pain point for early-stage founders.
Right.
Insurance has historically been this bureaucratic hurdle, intentionally opaque and slow, because the traditional brokers, well, they profit from that delay and complexity. Corgi just cuts them out entirely.
But doesn't that just move the risk from the broker, who at least acted as a human compliance layer, to Corgi's algorithms? I mean, if their AI, while fast, makes some kind of systemic mistake in underwriting risk, the entire company could be exposed.
It could.
That sounds like a risk the market isn't fully pricing in with that valuation.
That's the critical second-order effect, and you're right, the market is betting very heavily on the AI's efficacy. But the demand is so intense right now that investors are willing to pay that premium. The implication is clear. This isn't just a new tech company.
No.
It's a structural displacement event. Every traditional insurance broker, every paper-pushing claims operation that relies on slow processing just lost a huge, high-growth segment of their future customer base.
Wow. The efficiency gap is now a canyon.
It is.
That is a textbook example of applying AI to solve a genuine, expensive friction point. And speaking of friction, that same AI capability is now coming for your single biggest daily chore, email.
We're moving to the home front of data overload.
The home front is under comprehensive siege. We saw posts from @Gmail and then the details from @OfficialLoginK, who's the lead product designer for Google AI Studio, confirming the official rollout.
So what's the feature?
Gmail is transforming into a personal, proactive assistant. This is far beyond simple filters. We're talking about a new AI inbox that prioritizes your emails, personalized to-dos popping up automatically, and rapid thread summaries.
And the context here is just brutal. The Radicati Group data shows the average professional user handles around 120 emails a day. Google is trying to tackle that. Not by filtering it away, but by fundamentally reorganizing your entire reality based on its algorithmic guesses about what you should do next.
It's a massive shift in user agency, isn't it? You're moving from just being a passive recipient of mail to an active manager of your time, almost like an executive assistant.
Which raises an important question about adoption. While this is technically an opt-in change, the pressure to use it is immense. If your colleagues are getting through their inbox 30% faster because AI is deciding what matters, you have to adopt it, or you fall behind.
It's an opt-in change disguised as the default future.
Exactly.
And the cost to the ecosystem is staggering. The Help Me Write tool alone, or conversational queries like, what was the Italian restaurant we went to last year? It instantly renders so many third-party email tools just redundant.
This is the startup killer effect in full swing. We've seen at least 20 niche email tools now facing an immediate existential threat. Google just internalized that entire market.
But the feedback isn't all positive, is it?
Not at all. The context mentions early frustration with, persistent access bugs and this generalized sense of AI overload. People are tired of their tools being constantly transformed under their feet.
It seems like Google is testing the limit of how much automation users will tolerate before they just rebel. But efficiency often wins out over comfort.
It always does. The critical signal here is that for Google, data friction is now the enemy. They want you moving through information rapidly.
From the inbox, let's move to our consumption habits because another AI tool is trying to watch the entire internet for you. This is the new Grok video analysis capability showcased by Doge or Doge Designer.
The race for the ultimate summary layer continues.
Exactly. Users can paste any video link and ask Grok to summarize it or even answer specific questions. The demo is striking. Grok processing a dense, hour-plus interview with people like Peter Diamandis, David Bundy, and Elon Musk.
And it extracts what? A summary.
A structured, actionable 800-word summary. If you don't have time for the hour, Grok watched it for you.
This is an incredible utility, for sure, but it immediately raises critical questions about content consumption. I mean, if I never click on the video because Grok gave me the summary, I've technically devalued the original creator's work.
You're turning an hour of high production value into a disposable 5-minute text thread.
Precisely. The entire business model of long-form content, which relies on views, watch time, ad impressions, it's immediately threatened by the efficiency of this AI summary layer.
So creators now have to make content that's so nuanced a summary can't do it justice?
Or so visual, right? But there's always the risk of structured inaccuracy, hallucination.
Right.
Is Grok truly capturing the nuance, the body language, the unspoken context? Or is it just distilling content that sounds confident but might miss the critical subtlety a human viewer would catch? You're just trading depth for speed.
We've seen AI take over our data analysis. Now let's see it take over our creative production. Segment 3 is about the creative and physical AI frontier.
This is the factory floor for content creation, and that factory is becoming automated.
It's happening so fast. I've grouped 3 posts that show this. First, @RecapDavid showed an AI system that automates product video creation for entire e-commerce catalogs.
Okay.
The system uses a scraping tool called Firecrawl to grab product images, then it automatically generates these clean 8-second looping videos using Google's VO 3.1.
And the commercial impact detail here is what's most relevant. This system reportedly saves about $30,000 per collection shoot.
$30,000.
And crucially, it boosts on-site conversion rates by roughly 20%.
That $30,000 saving is a direct threat to the creative middle class. It's not an efficiency gain for the videographer, it's an elimination of the need for the small production house.
And the technical detail just keeps getting more precise.
Look at the post from @Invideo official introducing Kling 2.6 motion control. This moves beyond just generating pretty images.
Right. The key example was transferring the precise movements from a reference video like Shakira's dance choreography onto a completely static character image. The precision was insane, people were saying. It means you can essentially direct actors through proxy movements, which is a massive leap in creative control.
So it's about control. It's about determinism.
Exactly. The ability to deterministically control motion and emotion is what separates this wave of video AI from the random novelty of the last generation.
Which brings us to the final piece of that puzzle from @Higgsfield, Cinema Studio V1.5. This is a browser-based tool that simulates real optical physics. We're talking professional cameras like ARI, Alexa, IMAX.
And it adds aperture control for authentic bokeh, which is that aesthetic blur in the background. You're no longer hoping for a cinematic vibe. You are dialing it in. The technical skill barrier is dropping to almost zero.
So content is becoming a commodity defined by technical perfection rather than human creative struggle.
That's the risk. Can a technically perfect replication truly replicate the emotion a seasoned director of photography brings to a set? We risk seeing a high-volume saturation of content that is technically flawless, but creatively sterile.
Now, let's look at physical determinism. That post from @Weirdia gave us a fascinating glimpse into level 4 robotaxi operations.
Autonomy on the streets, the ultimate physical challenge.
The video shows their robotaxi navigating just incredibly challenging environments. Nighttime peak hour traffic, vehicles darting and weaving, the system detects obstacles early, reacts in milliseconds, all powered by NVIDIA's Drive Thor X chip.
The technical execution is impressive. Navigating true urban chaos at night is a major benchmark.
It's stunning.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, though, investor sentiment on the WRD stock remains mixed. There's praise for the engineering, but persistent concerns over scaling timelines and, most importantly, achieving profitability.
Why is scaling so hard when the software is clearly performing so well?
It's a combination of expenses and the long, opaque regulatory runway. Scaling means mapping hundreds of cities, handling liability when things go wrong. That journey from technical perfection on a test route to mass deployment is the valley of death for many AV companies.
So the tech is ready, But the market and the regulation might not be for another 3 to 5 years.
Precisely. That regulatory risk remains the main wall that companies like WeRide have to climb, regardless of how perfectly their software performs.
That makes sense. Okay, we've covered markets, workflows, large-scale production. Let's pivot to the developer playground, where the smallest creative experiments are fueling the next wave.
The R&D department of one operating on passion and caffeine.
Exactly. Look at Avery Code's post. She built an interactive particle playground using simple hand tracking. You can literally control complex particle simulations with your hands.
Okay.
And the key detail is astounding. She built this in just 1 hour.
1 hour. That speed is the real story. It illustrates the democratized power of modern tech stacks. A complex concept can move to execution in hours, not weeks.
And what's even more telling is her strategic pivot. She uses these experiments to explore interfaces for her mental health app, Caspi,
which she mentioned hit $100 in MRR the same day. The distraction, the tinkering, often leads to the R&D that fuels the main project.
It's fascinating.
It is. This high-velocity exploration of new inputs like hand tracking is what dictates what our interfaces will look like next year.
And we see that same dedicated tinkering in the physics space. At Zolden Games, an indie developer with an AAA background showed off a mesmerizing GPU-based fluid simulation. It's beautiful to watch.
And he admits this intense tinkering is delaying his main game, Simulario. But this delay is crucial R&D. These physics engine experiments show the untapped potential for dynamic, player-influenced environments.
It's the difference between a static digital world and one that truly reacts and flows in real time.
Yes. These independent developers are stress-testing the limits of what a GPU can render and simulate. The physics engines being born in these distraction projects ultimately define the complex, immersive environments we'll all experience in a few years.
So, what does this all mean for us today? We tracked 3 powerful movements. First, the high-speed insurtech capitalization of Corgi. Second, the comprehensive AI takeover of our personal workflows. And third, the democratization of cinematic and simulation tools.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, the shift toward deterministic AI, where we can precisely dictate movement, camera angles, optical physics, that's the most potent long-term trend. This is the moment AI becomes boring and therefore essential.
Which brings us to our final thought. What's your prediction for tomorrow based on these accelerating trends?
My prediction is that tomorrow we will see the launch of the first fully AI-generated advertising campaign for a major CPG brand. A campaign that publicly skips the production studio entirely and uses only prompts, motion control, and synthetic physics to hit peak quality.
Wow.
This will accelerate the consolidation and the further displacement of the creative middle class in media production.
The ultimate efficiency play is coming to a commercial break near you, and it was made by a single person with a few prompts. That's the reality we are living in. Thank you for the deep dive. That was the Daily Vibecasting.